Hi everybody, this is Robert over at Capital Retail Group. One of the questions that we often get from tenants is, what about the renewal option? Is there a renewal option in our lease? As a broker representing a lot of retail tenants, it's critical for us to find and negotiate the best possible renewal option for the tenant. So there's a couple of different ways to calculate market rent. Market rent can be left up to the landlord, and that's oftentimes how the lease will come out. It will say that the tenant has an option to renew, let's say for 5 years at market rent, to be determined by the landlord. As a tenant, you do not want the landlord to be calculating what the market rent is. It's completely up to their discretion to determine that, and that's not something you want. You want to have something that is a little bit more fair. Some of those options would be using the three broker method. The three broker method is the tenant hiring a tenant representative, the landlord hiring an agent representing them, and those particular agents or brokers coming up with the market rent. If in fact that can't be agreed upon, then a third broker is hired. That third broker ends up determining the market rent as an independent hire. So there's also the arbitration clause, which we're a big fan of, which is the tenant submits what they believe is market rent, the landlord submits what they believe as market rent, an arbitrator picks what they believe is closest to market rent, whether it's the tenant's submission or the landlord's submission. That's determining the market rent. So once again, if you are signing a primary initial lease, you want to have in your lease an option to renew the lease. It's also critical to keep in mind the notification dates of how to go ahead and exercise that option. Oftentimes the leases will say not less than 12 months before the expiration of the initial lease term, but also not more than 15 months before the expiration of the initial lease term in terms of notifying the landlord that you're exercising that option. So be aware of the dates when you need to exercise your option to renew. If it's not exercised properly, the landlord could consider it a null and void option to renew the lease, and you're back at square one and trying to figure out what you're going to do next after your lease is up. If you have any questions, give us a call, 202-319-2884. Check us out on the web, capitalretail.com. Thanks for checking out this video blog.